South Dakota has these big breaks. They don't have very dense grass. You're using the terrain to be able to get close to them. You just never know where these bucks can bed down at. Now this one happened to be in like a little berm, a little cove, and I needed to be right on top of him before I would have an opportunity to make a shot. I stalked all the way around there, and now I'm on the ground and I'm starting to make my final approach, and I know he's in that tree. I know he's at the base of that tree. And as it got closer and closer, I started by crawling. And I'm getting closer, and then pretty soon I realized that he's tucked so far under the bank that I'm gonna have to get up, and I'm gonna have to get even closer to him. And as I'm starting to approach, and I'm looking, all of a sudden he heard me, and he got out of his bed, and where I thought he was about 3 or 4 yards further, and he stood up, and all I could see was his head. He was completely safe in that bed. I had actually stalked that deer to 4 yards before he detected me. He said, "I have no part of that. I'm going to leave and never come back again."
I must be the blindest bow hunter on the planet. That was ridiculous. That buck was bedded literally 4 yards from us. I mean, he was a big typical. If that is not the greatest adventure ever, nothing is. That's just the biggest buck we know about that we've been watching over the last 3 or 4 days, and we snuck right on him. And look, he was bedded right here, and I could not see him. I just kept getting closer and closer and closer, not realizing where he was. And he was right in front of me. Doggone it, I was looking down the hill, I was looking everywhere, and then finally, when he stood up, I just had his neck profile, and then he ran off. He never even gave me an opportunity. Well, I remember being a kid and grabbing all of those magazines and picking out the hunts that I just imagined that someday I'd be able to go on, those adventures. And always when you saw those big mule deer bucks in Sonora, Mexico, it was one of those destinations that I just always dreamed about going. And a few years back, I made that dream come true. I've got a prime spot here this morning. The sun just came up. We got in higher elevation and we're able to look out into these big open flats where most of the mule deer are hanging out. We could even find a coos deer in this spot too. Just gonna get around the other edge of the rock here and do some glassing. We basically grab our binoculars and we look off, and sure enough, there are 2 bucks directly below us. Now, imagine this. This is the first morning of the hunt. I had just arrived. This is the first time I pulled my binoculars out in Sonora, and I already have 2 big bucks spotted.
Yeah, that back buck, it's a good buck. It's in it.
Jeff was that one that actually spotted him, and when I grabbed the gun and I looked through it, I saw those big, deep forks on the front and the back. He looked like a big, typical wide mule deer buck, exactly what I was looking for. Just when the sun comes up, and I'm already sitting in front of what I thought would take me several days to find.
Okay, it's the buck in the back.
Yeah. Okay, he's behind the chihuahua right there. He's got to clear.
You got him?
Yep.
I'm gonna range him real quick.
Got to come out.
263.
All right, dude. We got him.
And I laid that gun across that rock, and when the crosshair settled, that buck started to move out from underneath that saguaro, and he stood out there broadside and looked at the inclinometer, adjusted everything, and when I pulled the trigger, he didn't act hit right off the bat, and I didn't hear the impact. And the buck like goes around the corner. I thought, did I shoot him? And then the buck went about another 30 yards or so, and then he just fell over.
I tell you what, I've been hunting here at Sonora Darkhorn Adventures. Get in here, Jimmy. Get in here. The man with a plan. Destruction. Now, I'm not kidding you guys. My total hunting experience out here in Sonora has been less than 2 hours. I'm not kidding you. We came up on the very first rock, the very first morning. I borrowed a gun, a sweetheart of one, by the way, and we just laid the hammer down on that buck. Gentlemen, thank you very much, buddy.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Well, gentlemen, my very first morning, my very first hour, we're hunting a mule deer buck, and we found this absolutely great trophy. One that we're really happy to come over with Sonora Darkhorn Adventures every single year and be able to hunt out here in the desert. We had a lot of fun. We shot desert sheep with them, we shot coos deer and these big mule deer bucks, and it's a destination that I want to come back year after year after year.